What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Peshawari Coyote, and today I'll be reacting to episode number 11 in season 1 of the Avatar The Last Airbender is the show. This episode is called The Great Divide. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm not entirely sure, actually. It could mean like a land mass, like an area that is dividing two areas. Does that make any sense? Like the Great Wall of China? Because this is based on like Asian culture or Chinese culture, I think. Or it could be like metaphorical, not literal. So a divide as in so there's a divide that I can think of that is, well, there's the Fire Nation and then there's the rest of the world, right? We saw that in the last episode. Speaking of last episode, here's my little review after having a little time to think about it of the last episode. So first things first, it was great because we got to see pretty much the same thing that Katara has been doing throughout this show, which is trusting people and being very optimistic and only seeing the good in people and just being an overall great positive person. On the other hand, her brother, being that silly goof that he is, his instincts and all that, there were a lot of jokes about that, and that was great. So a bit more of that untrustworthy. No, not. What's the word, man? Like when someone doesn't trust other people so easily. They're not untrustworthy. They are what? I don't know the word. So that's Sokka, right? He doesn't trust people so easily. On the other end, Katara trusts people way too easily, right? They're like at the opposite end of the spectrum. One's very optimistic, the other is very pessimistic. Even when fights, the Avatar is going up against like the Heibai and stuff like that, and Avatar is actually losing, Katara is cheering on, and she's being positive, whereas Aang is making these silly jokes and stuff. And we love both of them for each of their separate personality that they have, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually love that about it. There's this contrast between these two characters, and they clash often, and it's so funny when they do. It's like that sibling rivalry, right? That's why it's so relatable, I think. So I love that about it. But there are drawbacks to each of those personality archetypes, right? So you have Katara, who's then very easily manipulated because she so easily trusts people, and we saw that with Jet, right? She trusts Jet way too easily, the stranger that she just met out of nowhere, and she trusts him so much so that, well, actually that was a bit weird. That's the part that was a bit weird to me, was she trusts him so much that she actually went against Sokka in favor of Jet, which was like, I was like, wait, hold on. That's one, your brother, and second, you're a team, right? These three guys we've seen them together since the very first episode. Well, actually, let me take it a step further. The very first scene, I think, was them, if I remember correctly, it was them in that boat going towards, I don't know what, but they ended up running into that iceberg where Aang was. So from the very first scene, these three have been together, so they're a team, and so they should be trusting each other more than these random strangers that appear in the world. And so that to me was a bit weird, like you're just trusting this random dude. And not only that, I mean, that part wasn't weird, because like I said, we've seen Katara do that way too often. What was weird was you're trusting this random dude over your brother, right? Your brother is telling you, look, I saw this thing happen from this dude, and you're just like, nah, it didn't happen, whatever, right? Like I was like, wait, hold on, what, really? Like, you should at least listen to what he's saying. I'm not saying just accept everything that your brother says. Your brother can say a lot of things that can be proven wrong. In this very episode about his instincts, we should walk instead of fly, and well, he was very wrong in that, because what happened, they walked straight into the Fire Nation camp, right? I'm not saying just agree with everything he's saying, but I'm saying when you meet a stranger and this guy's telling you this stranger is not a good guy, I saw it with my eyes, well, maybe don't just dismiss it like they did, That was a bit weird to me. But what wasn't weird was that trust that Katara has, and how easily she trusts people, and just being an overall nice and positive person. And when Jet shares his story about his village and his family, it was again that moment, the same as that in that episode Imprisoned, where you were like, okay, she's about to do something, because it's very similar to what happened with her family, right? And on the other hand, then Sokka just consistently not trusting people, and it's great, you know. That's why I love the dynamic these two bring to the show. And another thing to keep in mind is they are kids and they're still learning. So this would be a learning experience, and I'm sure they're going to keep disagreeing with each other, and we're going to get more and more episodes, and it's going to be a journey. They're slowly going to build sort of a trust between each other, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Anyways, let's get... Oh, actually, like, why does my eyes not feel normal? This why. I don't have my glasses on. But yeah, it was a great episode overall. We got to see the impact of the war. We've been seeing more and more of that. We've seen the darker side of this show that you guys have been telling me. I've been saying it's a very light-hearted, sort of easygoing show. Not many dark themes. Well, they are, and we're getting to see that a bit more. And you guys have been telling me that it gets even darker in season 2, so can't wait to finish the season, start season 2, and then finish off the show in season 3. So yeah, it's been a blast, really. It's been one of the best decisions I've made when it comes to watching shows. I just had that one teeny tiny little problem. I know, blasphemy, but yeah, jokes aside, I mean, yeah, it was a great episode. It was just that little, you know, thing that I was like, what, really? You're trusting a guy that you met literally like 5 minutes ago over your brother? That didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I think I've talked for long enough. Let's get into episode number 11. The Great Divide.
Aren't you forgetting the tarp?
Right, got it. Ordinarily, you'd be right, but seeing how it's the dry season, you're not. Besides, that tarp makes a pretty warm blanket.
But what if it does rain?
Be sorry.
You don't like my firewood. Ah!
Fine by me, if you're not gonna do your job.
I just talked about this.
Why don't you ask Miss Know-It-All, Queen of the Twigs?
Oh, yeah? Well, you're Mr. Lazy Bum, King of the Tent.
Oh, lovely.
Solve problems. Action will. Why don't you just switch jobs?
Sounds good.
Whatever.
You see that? Settling feuds and making peace. All in a day's work for the Avatar.
Yeah, see, I just talked about that. So it's going to take him a bit longer to learn that lesson. It's fine. We've got 2 other seasons.
Stare at it forever.
Okay, I've seen enough. I has to walk thousands of miles to the capital city of Ba Sing Se.
You're a refugee.
Huh, tell me something I don't know. Thanks. I'm saving a spot for my tribe, so don't even think of stealing it.
Where are the rest of the Ganjin? Still tidying up their campsite?
Yes, but they sent me ahead of them to hold a spot.
I didn't know the Canyon Guide took reservations.
Of course you didn't. That's the ignorance I'd expect from a messy Zhang.
Okay. Okay. So that canyon is called the Great Divide, but I think...
Them, I think.
I was here first.
I think the...
Who aren't here.
Guess you guys will have to make the trip tomorrow.
I think they might be talking about a bit more than just the canyon known as the Great Divide.
Maybe you Zhangs wouldn't have so many sick people if you weren't such slobs.
If you Ganjins weren't so clean, maybe you wouldn't live to be so old.
I could smell your
Well,
stink a mile
ready to
away.
put your piece... This is the Avatar. And if you give him a chance, I'm sure he can come up with a compromise that will make everyone happy.
All right, Aang, you're up.
Share the Earthbender and travel together?
Absolutely not. We'd rather be...
I was gonna say the same thing, by the way. Why don't they just travel together?
You pompous fools anyway.
I am not pompous.
All right, here's the deal. You're all going down together, and I'll be here. We'll fly your sick and elderly across.
All right, there you go. Aang, 112, I think.
Making peace between people is his job.
His job's gonna make us cross this whole thing on foot, isn't it?
Food allowed in the canyon. It attracts dangerous predators. Two babies can go a day without food.
Okay, I see. I see. Two opposite ends of the spectrum, eh?
Guess the spirits are still angry.
Okay, so that's why the Earthbender is important on this journey.
Stand clear of the wall.
Why'd you do that?
These people are fleeing the Fire Nation, aren't they?
Oh, okay.
We'll be safe now.
Uh-oh. Someone brought food, didn't they? I think someone brought food. And that's gonna create another fight. Alright.
Oh, my arms. I got no bending. In other words,
We're trapped in this canyon.
Okay, so that's not what he was talking about when he said don't bring food. There are these things that come out.
The point of ditching our food was so we wouldn't have to deal with things like canyon crawlers.
It's the Zhangs. They took food down here even after the guide told them not to.
What? If there's anyone who can't go without food for a day, it's you pampered Gonjins.
Okay. So I think it might have been both of them. Like a couple of people on both sides might have brought food.
We should split up. Ganjin's on this side and Zhang's on that side. Travel in two separate lines.
There's the Great Divide. And this way.
Saga, you go with the Zhangs, and Katara, you go with the Ganjins. See if you can find out why they hate each other so much.
This way they can figure out who has the food too. Alright, if the... What's it called? Critter or something? Crawler. The thing, man, that came out. If that comes here, then they have food. If it goes there, then they have food.
Aren't gonna put up your tarps?
What for? It's the dry season.
Exactly.
Use the tarp as a blanket.
Finally, someone gets it.
And these are going to be the organized people with the tarps and everything, yeah. Yep.
You really think it'll rain?
No, but you can never be too
Haha, perfect. All right, Aang divided them really well. Food.
Well, I guess it's okay if everyone's doing it.
No, it's not okay if everyone's doing it.
Why does your tribe hate the Zhang so much?
transporting our sacred ore from the Great Eastern Gate to the Great Western Gate.
Why?
But as he approached the gate, Jinwei was attacked by one of the Zhang, stole our sacred ore.
Now Katara is against them too. All right, they brought food too.
Thinking, we're horrible for endangering everybody by bringing food down here. The Ganjins think so badly of us, they probably assumed we brought food in and decided to bring food in themselves. That's why we brought food in.
See? Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's okay. There's a story where I come from about this as well. You tell kids.
Saw a figure in the distance. It was a man of the Ganjin tribe and promised to send help for the man as soon as he could. But as Wei Jin crossed the border to return the orb into Ganjin territory, he was arrested.
There are always two sides to a story.
Him to 20 long years in prison.
Ah.
Never forget that injustice.
That's just terrible. You gonna finish that?
Nah, I'll wait till he makes me nuts.
The other side.
They do need to work together to cross successfully.
Punished by the Ganjin.
Not punished enough, if you ask me.
Okay. As we get out of here, we can eat and then go our separate ways.
They both the groups have eaten already.
Dirty thief.
You pompous fool!
That's what I have to say. Harsh words won't solve problems. Action will.
Yep. Let's have some action.
Yes, perhaps he is.
They took it the wrong way. Yep, they took it the wrong way. Action will, yep.
I take it back. Harsh words aren't so bad.
Now, that will not be the end of this, mate. Doesn't matter who dies, the others will try to avenge. Got his beard, got her hair, lovely. That's more like it. A bit more assertion. Food.
Food? Everyone smuggled food down here? Unbelievable! You guys put your lives in danger because you couldn't go without a snack for a day?
You look so cute. Crawlers.
I don't care about this stupid feud. I just want us to get out of here alive.
Me too. I only took their side because they fed me.
That's another thing we know about Sokka. If you feed him, he'll be on your side. Nice. Oh, they're still... They're surrounded.
Everybody, watch me do what I do!
Throw the food away? Yeah, they follow the food, right? So, yeah. Oh no, they're doing some... I thought they were gonna like... Okay, I guess that works too. I thought they were gonna like, make like a trail and...
Now follow me! We're riding...
Oh, actually, that's way better than what I thought. I thought they were just gonna throw the food away, far away, so they'd just leave them alone. They'd go after the food. But this actually helps them get across as well as avoid the danger. I feel bad for him. Like that. All right, perfect. That's brilliant. Aang, I'm impressed. He really is 100 years old.
Like that.
And I never knew you Zhangs were so reliable in a pinch.
Perhaps we're not so different after...
Jin Wei? Wei Jin? I know those guys.
Yes, yes, we're all aware of the story.
No, I mean, I really knew them. I might not look it, but I'm 100 and...
Jin Wei, Wei Jin. Are they like brothers?
Confusion about what happened. First of all, Jin Wei and Wei Jin weren't enemies. They were brothers.
Ah, all right.
And they were 8. And most importantly, they were just playing a game. Jin Wei had the ball and was running toward the goal when he fell and fumbled it. Wei Jin didn't steal the ball. He picked it up and started running it back toward the other goal. But he stepped out of bounds. So the official put him in the penalty box.
Hold on, is this real?
No stealing and no putting anyone in prison.
Is he making this up to make sure they get along?
Orb was actually a sacred ball?
Nope, just a regular ball. Everyone would yell, "Redemption!" It was kind of a slob, and Jin Wei was a little stuffy. But they respected each other's differences enough to share the same playing field.
It's time we forget the past.
And look to the future.
Okay.
We could call it luck. Or you could call it lying.
What?
I thought so.
You did not. That is so wrong.
I thought he made that up. It sounded, I don't know. It didn't sound like it was a real story. All right, that's the end of that one. So again, see, it's the importance of working together, and I thought they might have learned that from the last episode, but they didn't. Maybe they'll learn it from this one, because well, this one we actually see how damaging it can be. You know, it starts with just 2 people, and then it spreads to the entire tribes. Like, by the way, I understand that, you know, and I've said this many times before, siblings have that rivalry thing, right? They disagree a lot. I disagree with my brother and sister all the time. That's not what it is. It's when they disagree on serious things, right? Things that actually puts their life in danger, like the last episode, like Jet, right? That wasn't just a chore thing, right? Like putting up the tent or whatever. That's just a chore, right? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about when it comes to real, like, things that affect a whole bunch of people, not just them, and also things that are related to the war. You know, that was related to the war as well. So those things I feel like they need to take a bit more seriously, and they need to work together in that. But yeah, another great episode. The Great Divide was a canyon, like a place, but also I think it was referring to, well, those 2 tribes, right? There was this great divide between these 2 groups of people, and Aang brought them together by lying. Sometimes lying can be good, as well, Aang proved in this episode. Aang proving himself to really be a wise man, 112 years old. He's living up to that wise man mantle. That's great to see from him. But that thing that I was talking about, just because everyone's doing it, I'll do it as well. That thing is not right. And you know how I mentioned there's a story that we tell our kids? I was told this many times as well. Let me tell you that story. First, I'll have to translate it. Alright, so all stories, by the way, where I come from start with kings and queens. So there was a king, right? And he asked his people to bring 1 cup of milk with them to his castle, and he put this huge barrel in front of his castle, and he said, just drop the cup of or pour the cup of milk in the barrel, and by the end we'll have a huge barrel of milk, and you will only have given us 1 cup, and then we can then distribute that to the families that need it the most, right? And you won't be affected by it so much because you can give up just 1 cup of milk, right? It's not that big of a deal. And everybody was like, yeah, great, fantastic, we'll do that. And so what happened was these people started to go, and they kept pouring the milk in there, and it was these 2 friends that were walking to that barrel to pour milk in there, and the one friend was talking to the other one. He was like, you know, I want to tell you something, but I need you to keep it a secret. And he's like, well, what is it? He's like, actually, in the cup I don't have milk, I have water. He's like, what? He's like, well, how can you put water in there? Well, he's like, well, I'm sure if there's just 1 cup of water in a whole barrel of milk, no one would notice. He's like, you know what, that makes sense. And he was like, all right, hold on, let me go and get a glass of water as well. And he goes and gets a glass of water as well. He's like, let me save the milk for myself. And so the 2 guys go in there and pour water in there, and they're like, all right, if it's just 2 cups of water in a whole barrel of milk, no one would know. Well, the day ends, the kings, the guards and everyone come, and they check the barrel, and when they open the barrel and look inside, well, it's filled with water and nothing else. You know why? Because every single person thought, if I just put 1 cup of water in a whole barrel of milk, no one would notice. Well, when everyone does that, well, there is no milk, then there's only water, so that's why that's not okay. Don't know if I needed to tell that story, but there you have it. You're welcome. Anyways, yeah, another great episode. Love this show so much, man. There's really deep and profound messages in these shows, and it's just a kid's show. Like, It's way more than that. I mean, I can understand why there's such a big fan base even to this day, you know? I mean, this is quite an old show. I get it. It's such a fantastic show. I love it. I hope you're enjoying these reactions as well. Like I said, I don't know anything about these books or this world or anything like that, so if I say something that doesn't make any sense, just correct me. And you know, I do read the comments, so that's great, and I appreciate every single comment you guys leave. Thank you so much for letting me know about things that I get wrong in the past, and I'm sure you'll continue doing that in the future as well. Thank you for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, have a nice